Hello. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Brooke Nicewander here, and this is Starstruck Parenting, episode 2. If you caught the first episode, the introduction, thank you so much. If you haven't, go back and watch that. Just gives a little bit of a background about me, who I am, why I'm doing this. Like I said, for me, if I can impact one parent's life and in turn impact the kids that they have, that's a huge accomplishment. You know, Today I want to talk about something that's really important, and uh, it's the one gift that all children crave, but parents today don't seem to supply. They don't give. Okay, and I'm not talking about something, you know, physical. I'm not talking about something that you're going to buy at the store. That's not what I mean by gift. The gift I'm referring to is loving correction, also known as discipline. Okay? Now, everybody's going to have a different view on this. Some people, are very strict. Other people are not strict at all. What I've noticed in this day and age is that most people are afraid to discipline their children. They're wanting them to like them. They're wanting to be their friends. And I have news for you guys. Your kids don't need you as a friend. They need you as a parent. I can tell you honestly that kids often act out, and they will do something because they crave that setting straight. They want their parents to put them back on the path. Okay? And the more that we can teach our kids how to get back on that path and eventually teach them how to discipline themselves so that we don't have to discipline them and nobody else in life is going to have to discipline them if they discipline themselves, the better we do our job as a parent. Okay? The better we do our job as a parent, the less issues they're going to run into in the future with discipline. No, I know this may be a hard topic for some people. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my history. Okay, growing up, when I was little, I have a really good memory. Okay, I refer to it as a terrible memory because I remember freaking everything. And I remember, like, I was raised mostly by a single mom, and I remember being, I don't know, maybe 3. Yeah, it's probably about 3. We were on this farm, and I don't remember what I did, but my mom, she was she's threatening me with a spanking, and sure wasn't getting through. And so she grabbed the wooden spoon and bent me over, pulled down my pants, went to pat on my little butt. And as she swung the wooden spoon, it broke just before it hit my bum. And I started laughing so hard. And she's like, "Oh, you little shit." And she grabbed the nearest thing. It was a brass bound hairbrush. And she paddled my butt with that. And let me tell you, I wasn't laughing afterwards. Now, I don't remember what that spanking felt like. Like I'm 43 now, so 40 years later, I can still remember the incident. And I remember how I went from being like, ha ha, to, And you know what? Some people are really against spanking. I got my butt whooped a lot when I was a kid. It didn't do any damage to me. Now, I don't necessarily believe in hitting my kids. I have tried spanking at one point in time. Wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay, but I've experimented with different forms of discipline. When my mom got together with my stepdad, okay, so they got together. I was about 5, and they got married a couple years later. Now, when I would act out, my stepdad Mark, he was a very structured, disciplined guy, and I was haywire. Me and my mom, we'd been alone. I would talk back. We would argue, and he didn't see that as okay, right? And I get it now that me talking back to my mom was not okay. So I would end up getting disciplined. I would get push-ups for punishment. For everything, it was push-ups, unless I lied. And if I lied, then I got spanked. I got a belt if I lied. And you know what? The understanding there was I would either become really good or I'd become really strong. And the truth is I was I was a defiant kid. I I wanted to get away with stuff. I tried sneaking. I did all these things. So I did a lot of push-ups. And I was really strong. I got to the point where I could do a set of push-ups. A set of push-ups was 125 push-ups for me. This is for a 10-year-old kid, okay? So like that's pretty strong. The most push-ups I did in a day, we'll get to that in a minute. Because what would happen is I had this attitude is, oh, whatever, what's 100 push-ups? I can do those. It takes me 2 minutes. Who cares? I'll do them tomorrow. And so they got to the point where they doubled, and then they tripled, and then they finally got to a point where they quadrupled. And if I didn't do them in a certain amount of time, then I would be grounded. Okay, so the most push-ups I did in a single day was 1,625. It took me 2 hours and 25 minutes. So, that punishment for me, I didn't think at the time that it did a lot. Like I didn't want to do push-ups, trust me. But what it did is it built a strength of character for me, and it built a man who grew up to be capable and be able to do these things. And you know what? I did learn those lessons. I did learn to, follow through with my work. I did learn the lessons that were being taught to me. And not one push-up ever hurt me. If anything, they gave me strength. So I would highly recommend that if you have unruly little boys or even little girls, right? My son push-ups from time to time, and my daughter's like, oh, I can do those. And then she wants to do them too, right? So, so there's that. Now, in today's day and age, a lot of people, right, they use discipline or for a punishment, taking away electronics. And I think most people have their kids spend far too much time in front of a screen, whether it's a TV, a tablet, a phone. Heaven forbid you're giving your kid a phone and they're less than like 12 years old. As far as I'm concerned, they don't need them. And I do. I work for a telecom. I deal with phones and stuff all the time. But Steve Jobs, his kids went to a Waldorf school. They were not allowed to interact with technology. Why? Because he knew the damage it did to their brains, right? So if you watch the first episode, I'm a sober drug addict and alcoholic. And the studies that are out there show that a kid sitting in front of a screen, it lights up the same areas of their brain as cocaine does for one of us adults. So think about that next time you see your kid sitting there in front of their tablet for like 4 hours, or you go to take it away from them and they throw a temper tantrum. Kids are going to act out in the only way that they know how. If they act out and they're having a temper tantrum and that they get back what they want, well, they win. So guys, discipline can come in all forms. When I was young, I got thrown into martial arts, and at that point, so this was not my parent, these were my sensei. And my sensei would make me do push-ups. And my sensei would make me run. And my sensei, if I did something out of line, I got instantly corrected. Okay? And I respected that. I respected that correction. I respected those people probably more so than I did my family, right? Because when you're dealing with, when your kids are dealing with your parents, what is it? That statement, familiarity breeds contempt. Right? If you're dealing with this stuff all the time, your kids can get this idea of, oh, you're picking on me. And you know what? In your mind, or in their mind, sorry, they may believe that you're picking on them, but that's our job. Our job is to set our kids straight. Our job is to put them on the right path. And I have told my kids straight up that, you know what? I am not afraid of you not liking me. My job is not to be liked by you. My job is to raise you to be self-sufficient, productive members of society. My job is to raise you into adults that can take care of yourselves. That is my job, and that does not require you liking me. That said, my kids love me to death. They adore me. I am the disciplinarian in our house. Okay, my wife doesn't discipline nearly as much as I do, and the kids come to me. If they've got something that they need to talk about, they've got something that they don't want to share elsewhere, they come and talk to me. Because I built that trust. One of the things that is really, really, really important for us as parents is we need to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And what do I mean by that? I mean that our words and our deeds need to line up. So if you say you're going to do something, doesn't matter what it is. If you say you're going to make them do push-ups, says that if they don't do whatever, you're going to spank them. If they're going to get grounded, if you're going to take their tablet away for a month, whatever it is that you say, you need to back that up. Do that a number of times, and they will come to know that mom and dad, do what they say they're going to do. And what this does is this builds trust. This builds trust between our children and us, right? They may trust us that we're going to be there, we're going to put a roof over their head, we're going to do whatever. But if our words and our deeds don't align, right, we're modeling a misalignment. We're modeling dishonesty. And what's going to happen is we are going to have kids that are going to follow and act out on that dishonesty, that misalignment. And what happens when we're lying to the world, or worse, when we're lying to ourselves? We get to the point where we don't trust ourselves. And that's where things like anxiety and depression and fear really step in, okay? I'm no doctor here. I just understand the way that kids work and humans work is when we don't follow through with our words, we don't trust ourselves. We have low self-esteem because of that. And this is multiplied 2-3-fold when it comes to our kids. Because if mom and dad don't match their words to their deeds, and the kids don't match their words to their deeds, how can they trust anybody, right? They're learning to trust us. We are showing them how to trust humanity, how to trust people. And if we aren't trustworthy, because what we say and what we do don't line up, what kind of impression is that going to give to our children? Okay? So it's super, super, super important that we show up every single day and we match our words to our deeds. If we're telling our kids to go out and be themselves and the world's going to love them, but we're afraid to meet the neighbors because we're afraid we're not gonna measure up, and we pretend to be somebody that we're not when we meet them, our kids are gonna see that. And what they're gonna say, they don't say it out loud, they won't say it to you, but they'll say it in their head. They'll say, my dad's a liar. Like, who the hell is he? Why would I listen to him? He doesn't even follow his own advice. So, sorry guys, I just need a drink here. The importance of matching word and deed is huge. Be to the world who you say you are to your kids. Okay, I'm going to say that again because it's so important. Be to the world who you say you are to your kids. They should know if you say, hey, this is what's going to happen, then that's going to happen. Come hell or high water. Okay? If you say, dad's going to be at your baseball game, you better freaking show up. Because if you say dad's going to be at your baseball game and you don't show up, do that a couple of times, your kid's not going to respect you. Not at all. So when you say something to them that they need to do something, they need to buckle down and get to work to get their grades up, whatever it is, they're going to say, whatever. So it all starts with us. It starts with us as parents. What are we demonstrating? Who are we showing up as to our kids? And who are we showing up as to the world? When those two people match up, when those two beings align, we become a powerful demonstration to our children. We become the role model that they can be proud of. And that's a huge thing. If you're a dad or you're a mom, you really should be your child's first hero. 100%. And if you're not, you need to ask yourself, why not? What is it that you're doing that isn't aligning with what you're putting out there? Because when those two things align, trust me, your kids are going to want to be you. They really will. Okay, guys, so this is a short one today, but so important that we follow these principles. It's not about what you do, it's about the principles behind it, okay? Anything in life is about, anything important can be boiled down to principles. Doesn't matter what the action is. Are you following the principle in life? And in this case, the principle is honesty and consistency. discipline. Okay? Are you following those three principles? If you are, you're going to be an amazing role model. Your kids are going to respect you no matter what sort of punishment or disciplinary action that you have to take to get them back online. They're going to listen to it and they're going to go, okay. They're not going to want to do it, but once they do it, later on they're going to look back and they're going to see that as a building block, a lesson that helped them grow into the young man or woman that they are today, or that day, because we're talking about the future here. So if you get anything out of this today, guys, show up to the world as the same person you tell your kids you are. If you haven't been doing that, I beg you to try. For both you and your children, it'll make a world of difference. Have a great day.